have with us Mr. Amit Kumar Agarwal. He's the co-founder and the CEO of NoBroker.com. He's a PGP 2004 batch, and he is also the recipient of Young Alumni Achievers Award in the entrepreneurship category. Congratulations, Amit, on receiving the.
Thank you so much, Sagatha.
I'll just give you a brief introduction. Uh, he is the co-founder, CEO of NoBroker, and with a valuation of $1 billion, it's the only property tech unicorn that has raised about 3,000 crores. No Broker has also saved about 16,000 crores in brokerage in the past 10 years and has now grown to 11 cities and a user base of 3 crore customers. Please correct me if there are
And of course,
changes.
absolutely right.
Okay, so congratulations on winning the award. What does this award mean to you?
No, so thank you so much. Uh, and the award is very, very special. I think I have been looking forward to it for many years. And somehow, sometimes I feel that the people who give the award may not truly know the happiness which the other people feel who get the award. And I think that's disproportionately high. And especially so because even after 20 years of passing out, I am Ahmedabad still has that feeling of awe
Hmm.
and to some extent fear, which basically such an institution end up imposing on you as a PGP. So being able to, so you barely survive those 2 years when you are there, and when the same institute basically says that you are among the top alumni, it is very, very special and very, very emotional. And as I said, the jury perhaps do not know how much the recipients feel special.
And we are truly proud to have you. So we are also pleased that you are one of the winners.
Thank you.
Uh, before uh, before NoBroker.com, you worked in diverse companies in corporate sector, from Cognizant to PwC to Australia and New Zealand Bank. What inspired you to start your own venture?
I think, see, what happens is that when you are in IIM Ahmedabad and when you are in this day one, day two race, the only objective is to somehow get a good job because that's
Hmm.
how the entire system is made.
Hmm.
Now, once you're out of that system, when for a few years pass, you end up basically as a corporate, you end up chasing next corporate, more salary increment, more responsibilities, and that's how the life keeps on taking you. And I think after 10, 15 years, then you start questioning yourself as to where are you going and whether this is what you really want to do. Because after 10, 15 years, everybody's on his own. There
Hmm.
are very few people whom you are in touch with. You are not competing with anyone. You are trying to figure out whether you are enjoying what you are doing daily. And what I found is, like many others, is that I like what I'm doing, but it is getting repetitive. And the only thing which I'm looking forward to is next increment, next raise, which which seemed very predictable. And
Hmm.
and it seemed as if I have come in a comfort zone. And what happened was that I happened to get interviewed from another IMA alumni.
Hmm.
So another IMA, and he was running a startup in Bangalore, and he was my younger IMA alumni, and he interviewed me for a position. And so first of all, I was very impressed that see here is another IMA alumni, and he's younger with me to me, and see how well he has done. And on his wall was a poster which said, "Not taking risk is the biggest risk in life."
Hmm.
And that really resonated with me because when perhaps the the seeker is looking for a message, then both of them
Yes.
meet. And I basically really felt that if I don't take any risk,
Hmm.
what is the point? And somehow, see, had I been a graduate from any other MBA institute, perhaps it would have been okay for me to be insecure about my job, about my future. But when you pass from IIM Ahmedabad, and then if you can't take risk, then what is the point of such a premium institution and such a prestigious brand? So somehow I feel that many a times passing from IMA makes people take less risk instead of the opposite. You should be able to take much more risk. So many more people should be able to opt out of placements because now you have such a great brand which is going to take care of you your entire life. And you have already proven that you are above IQ level and so on. So I felt that, and I was in my mid 30s, so it was basically difficult to take a plunge because you keep on gathering EMIs, home loan, and so on. But I think having a good institute, having a good career behind me gave me the confidence to take the risk.
Great. And NoBroker.com has been a disruptor in the real estate industry. What were the crucial factors you think that led to your success?
I think not the crucial factors which led to our success can be the exact factors which could have led to our failure. So let me just explain. So many people say that you need to be a part of the industry, you need to know good about industry to really do something disruptive in the industry. And if you're not, then you will fail. For in our case, we had zero idea. So we are three of us founders and we have zero experience in real estate. And no, we all three of us are first generation entrepreneurs. So I think uh, that is why we could question something very, very simply and very, very from a first principle, saying that, hey, why do we have to pay brokerage to this broker in this internet era? And no one else in the world has done this. No company in US has done non-brokerage. No company in China has done non-brokerage. Even today, if you go to US, you pay a hefty 6% fees to sell a house.
Wow.
Such a developed country also with all
Hmm.
the technology, even then, there also they pay huge amount of money. And so when we asked a very simple question, why? Why can't we do this? And there was no obvious answer. So we said, okay, let's explore this. So with very naive attitude, we went on exploring it. And sometimes when you have this irrational optimism about something,
Hmm.
then the world basically conspires to make it happen. And hence, we believed in it, rightly, wrongly, and then it started becoming more true.
Hmm. And this is exactly, I think, I just spoke to Rahul Das of Purple, and he also said something about optimism. You start something with full faith in that idea, and with the right factors, it leads to success.
Yeah, you are right. And because why I think many of the founders talk about optimism is, and I want to just throw more light on it, that
Hmm.
when you are trying to do something which no one has done before,
Hmm.
if you talk to a very, very rational mind, he would say that of course it can't be done because ABCD reasons are there, right? Because
Hmm.
there has to be some reasons why it has not been done before. So the only thing which can basically push you through to do something which has never been done before is to just believe, is to just be optimistic that it will work, have some one or two ideas, and just keep on believing on it because data insufficient is the answer for the obvious rational mind.
Wow, that gives a lot of people more faith to just push through their ideas. And what are your thoughts on the path to profitability for startups in Indian ecosystem and for NoBroker.com?
So for every business, what is the objective? The objective is to make profit.
Hmm.
Otherwise, what's the point of basically doing a
Hmm.
business in the first place? I
Hmm.
think what has happened in Indian startup ecosystem is that just like any other ecosystem, the startup ecosystem also takes years to mature.
Hmm.
So when the startup ecosystem started, and it's a very young ecosystem, right? So when I graduated, then there was no VC to give you funds, right? You had to go to
Hmm.
perhaps a bank or SIDBI or something. And all of this ecosystem is fairly new, is barely a decade old. And the way in which it started was a lot of people competing for the same thing and money being the main factor, which distinguishes between you and you outrunning your competitors. But I
Hmm.
think now, within a decade, the industry is very fast maturing. It is very, very obvious that that profitability is the main reason why a company should exist. And so today, within a decade, if you talk to now any founder or any startup, or any investor, it's
Hmm.
obvious that okay, for the initial few years, you are going to be in investment zone. The same way in which if a person puts up a plant, then it takes some years for that plant to break even. But for everyone, it is clear that you have to be profitable. And the IPO market has also basically shown the way that the rewards are giving to those startups who are profitable or just profitable. So I think 10 years back, even my father used to ask that what are these car hailing companies and food delivery companies doing when they're making such big losses?
Hmm.
But in front of his own eyes, he can see how both of those companies have turned profitable
Hmm.
and have basically gained market share and customer trust. So I think it is just how any industry would mature. So the same thing I think is happening with India also.
Okay. And what do you envision to be the future of property tech platforms in India? And what is the role no broker will play in it?
So I think what has happened. So let's look at from the customer point of view.
Hmm.
Customers, especially tenants and buyers, have completely shifted online. So
Hmm.
you ask any of your friends who have searched to buy, who have thought about buying a property, he or she would have surely gone online. So they will, so everybody, if you want to buy a property, will start your search online. You will research online, you will discover properties online, you will see photos online. So the searching, the seeking pattern has become online, and then online to physical. For see, I many people feel that this is going to be one day a click to pay business. That looks difficult. Why? Because it is an infrequent purchase and a very high amount purchase for a product which is non-standard. A
Hmm.
house in the same building, a flat, two flats are different.
Hmm.
I don't think we will ever reach. It is easier to reach there, which is click to pay, and perhaps not required also. But I
Hmm.
think over time, what's going to happen is more and more customers are going to move online, both owners and tenants and buyers.
Hmm.
More and more conversations will happen online. More and more search will happen online. Virtual platforms will help people shortlist better. And then a physical visit is going to happen because it's a product that you're going to consume, live in, breathe,
Hmm.
see the sunlight, and so on. And that's going to be basically physical. And we think that as no broker, we are at right at that moment because we think gone are those days when you will call a broker, you will sit behind his scooter and he will show you around. So those days
Hmm.
are gone now. You go with the Uber and the broker sits with you in your car. So I think only those brokers who really add value to customer are going to stay. And people who are run-of-the-mill operator and who are just connecting two parties will have to really think why they are charging so much fees.
Hmm. And what advice do you have for future entrepreneurs who want to walk in the similar path as yours?
So I would say that I know that many of the IIM Ahmedabad graduates have a education loan to pay and there are some financial constraints which should surely be taken care of. But I would strongly say that if you are from IIM Ahmedabad, you have to take risk. You are at the best suited scenario to take risk.
Hmm.
Somehow, I think what has happened is that in an attempt to chase day zero job, day one job, we forget this and we forget the fact that we can opt out of this placement. And IIM Ahmedabad has now amazing programs in which you can opt out and then you can come back and participate again after 2 years in case things don't work out.
Hmm.
So it breaks my heart to see that lots of IITians are doing it, but
Hmm.
not so IIM graduates. But IIMA Ventures has been an amazing initiative which I've heard a lot about, and
Hmm.
which is awesome. And I hope that in the coming years, more and more people will take risk. So I would say that people from Ahmedabad are cream, they are top. And if anyone has basically an idea and wants to pursue it as a passion, I think the next 2, 3 decades are of India. The daily problem that we face are basically an opportunity which are hidden, and it is a huge market to be captured. So my advice to young entrepreneurs would be to don't overthink, make sure their financials are in order, and
Hmm.
give it a try.
Hmm.
Because we are not just made to serve others and
Hmm.
basically, but we are also there to create jobs. So that would be my suggestion.
And you said that the same factors that lead to your success could have led to your failure. So can you elaborate on what do you mean by that?
Yeah. So unlike say studies wherein it is very clear cut that if you study this much, you will get so much of grade. In business world, there is no clear cut formula.
Hmm.
So for example, the principle that you should be have a deep understanding of an industry to disrupt it
Hmm.
is is a success mantra for many people, is a failure mantra for many people. And
Mm,
for us, it was basically the reason why we could do, because we could ask a basic question.
mm,
Similarly, many of the startups, as you were mentioning, alluding to it earlier, have been successful because they spent huge amount of money and
mm,
they outspent their competitors and took the market share.
mm,
In our case, funding was never easy for us. So we were always very frugal. So the reason which is less amount of funding or not crazy funding, if you could say, that did not happen with us. It could have been a reason for failure for us. We could have starved and we could have gone bankrupt.
mm,
But that same thing which would have uh, uh, harmed other companies in a way helped us because it built good habits with us. We were always very frugal. We respected money much, much more. Also, to do the fact that we were not the youngsters 20s, but we were mid 30s, so more
mm,
careful. So, and while many other startups have been successful because they expanded a lot very quickly to a lot of cities, like many
mm,
e-commerce company,
mm,
ride-hailing companies, we were very slow in
mm,
expanding. That could have been a reason for our failure, but it became the single biggest reason why we were successful. Because many other housing companies, they expanded too much, burned too much money, and did not earn any customer trust. But
mm,
in this business, if you don't find a home in Gandhinagar, why do you care if I have properties in Meerut?
mm,
Really doesn't matter to you. So why should I expand to Meerut when I have not solved Gandhinagar? So
yes,
it's a very, very basic question, but people often think that just because you can courier a mobile to both the cities, so you should expand to both the cities. But this is not e-commerce. This is real
mm.
estate. So that's why I said that many reasons which made others successful or many reasons which made other failed were the exact reason which made us successful.
And being a CEO of this company, as much as it is tech driven, it's also people driven. And you have been leading it. So, what are the lessons in leadership that you can share with us? What did you learn?
No, this is an amazing question, and I think this is one of my favorite topics. When we were in IIM Ahmedabad, OB organizational behavior was something that people were not that much interested. But that is, and almost every IIMA graduate says it later in life, that is a subject which is basically most useful. And I think what I discovered about myself was it's also a self-discovery journey when you are running a startup with thousands of employees, that I am very, very comfortable in people doing mistakes. And I'm
Hmm.
very, very comfortable delegating. I don't like being micromanaged, and hence I don't want to micromanage others. So the way in which I have built a team, so there are thousands of customer facing people that report indirectly to me, and I have some 40, 50 business leaders who manage these thousand plus people, and I give them huge amount of accountability. So each one of them handle different functions. So for example, one business head will handle packers and movers, another will handle painting, cleaning, uh, home interiors, commercial real estate, and so on. Each one of those leaders they decide the vision of their own function. They decide whom they are going to hire, whom they are going to fire, what salary they are going to pay. Everything they decide. I
Hmm.
basically oversee just on a monthly basis and from a culture point of view basis. But I give them huge accountability, which basically in a way makes 50 entrepreneurs uh, get blooming within no broker. And that's the
Hmm.
reason why many investors ask us as to how we can do so many multiple businesses. And the secret sauce is that is our culture. That because the culture is so good, that's why people stay. And out of this 40, 50 business leaders that I work directly with, this team has been built over the past 10 years. And there has been almost zero attrition, almost zero.
Impressive.
Because no, this 1 to 10, 50 it has happened, but rarely anybody leaves. Yes, somebody who got married and her husband is moving, or someone got selected into MBA and is moving, that's a different thing. But otherwise, there is zero attrition. And that people basically achieving a lot of things for their function also gives me huge amount of vicarious happiness. And I think that culture is something which I have learned is super, super important for making anything big.
Impressive. Especially because we talk about mental health these times, especially in the workplace and the deadlines, the consulting jobs that, drive you up to this. So it's very heartening to know that there are companies which is a startup, which is fast moving, yet is centered around people and their aspirations also.
And this is very, very amazing that I might work for the same hours. Suppose if I
Mhm.
have to work late tonight,
Mhm.
the work-life balance or the mental health comes into picture
Mhm.
when you are not the one who is taking that decision. If you take that decision that no, this is important to me and I
Mhm.
want to finish it tonight, then that does not basically make you feel stressed or
Right.
basically make your life miserable. But if it
Mhm.
is your boss who is being toxic and who is basically pushing you or threatening you, then the whole experience basically the work will still perhaps get done, but with lot of unhappiness. And that is
Right.
not sustainable. So I know that sometimes basically we borrow some of these concepts from West, but I fully disagree with them. I think people work best when they enjoy what they are doing. Otherwise, everything that you do is very short term.
Mhm. It's a long-term thinking there. And one can grow even with, good values and good work culture.
No, no,
That's a good.
of course, but that has to be very carefully managed. So, for example, like in a garden, you will manage and you will make sure that weeds don't grow and you pluck
Mhm.
them out. Similarly, you will find that there are people who are performers, but they are jerks. You don't want to work with them. They are performers. So now it's a decision for you as a businessman. Do you want to have these people? You can have a high performing culture, but the culture will slowly become toxic.
Mhm.
And so when I am spending time with people from morning to evening, why should I spend time with someone who I don't like and who is not a good person? So
Mhm.
there are enough performers who are also nice people.
Mhm.
So I think it's very important to not just say it in theory. So theory is very easy, but can you really make it in practical? Can you really walk that talk? So that is required.
And you are the first generation entrepreneur and you're mentoring more than 30 startups. So, what are the insights that you gain from mentoring others?
No, so I think mentoring is basically something which seems like a one way, but it is two way. So mentees also mentor you in their own way by sharing their experiences, by giving opinion on what you are saying. So
Mhm.
I so my objective is only to basically make sure that see in this past 10-year journey we have been through lots of ups and downs. And there are some learnings that we have in terms of how to scale the business, how to present your business to investors, when to raise fund, how much to dilute, which co-founders to basically select, and what to do when things are going bad. So whatever way in which we can help the new founders that we try to do. So the objective is to basically have a free-flowing conversation. And I've seen that the more frank you are, the more they
Mhm.
open up. And sometimes small things which are pretty obvious to me today are not obvious to people who are starting, and they find value in it, which makes the conversation even more enriching for me also. So I think the experience has been amazing, and the learning has been both ways. I also get to learn about so many different industries, their challenges, what makes them tick. So I think this is also some vicarious pleasure that you take from other people's success.
And as a recipient of Young Alumni Achievers Award, what do you hope to accomplish in the future, personally and professionally?
I think the award, in a way, also gives a responsibility that you have to behave in a specific way in future. So that also gives that responsibility that you live up to IIMA values, and I intend to basically do it, continue to do it. I hope I have lived up to them till now. The objective is basically twofold. One is financial, another is emotional. So the financial is all business related, that we would like the business to grow. We would want to do an IPO in the next 4 years. We would want give the returns to our shareholders who have invested in us and trusted us for 10 years. And we would want to make some money for our employees who have been with us and worked so hard. So these are the financial metrics and business metrics. On an emotional side, I would want no broker to be across the country. Right now, we are in the top cities. I would
Mhm.
want to be it across the country. I would want that if people talk about no broker, they feel they have a positive feeling. They feel that yes, no broker has made their life better. Because at the end of the day, have you left any lasting impression? Did you leave the world a better place than what you started with? That slowly starts becoming important. So I hope that 5 years from today, no broker is across the country and people have a positive feeling when they think about no broker.
And personally, what are your goals?
I think basically personally and professional is a very
It's the same.
high overlapping.
For an entrepreneur, I guess that's how it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. And I think now my kids are basically are growing up and the elder one is going to basically go to college. So I just hope that the way in which I have had a great relationship with my father, almost a friend like, I hope that I have the same relationship with my son. So then you start thinking about the next generation more.
So, all the best for your future and may all your hopes come true. And thank you so much for sitting with us and sharing your insights.
Thank you so much, Swagata. This was a lot of fun. Thank
Thanks.
you for having me.